Three things that really grinds my gears with creators and entrepreneurs and small business owners out there. Let's get into it. Welcome back. I'm Alexandria with Stay Dumb, the podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. All you got to do is click that link below. Subscribe right now to this page so you can see more video content from Stay Dumb and from myself. But I really want to get into this topic of the issues that I have with creators and entrepreneurs out there. My first issue that I have with some entrepreneurs and business owners, that is a lack of vision. So vision itself is so important. Having a vision for your life, having a vision for your business. So if you've been listening to the podcast on Podbean, especially that first intro episode, you kind of got to hear about my background. But if this is your first video listening to me, I'll just fill you in very briefly. My career started off as a photojournalist in the military. I have a PR degree. I've done some PR work and PR consulting from military, beauty industry, and nonprofit. So the main thing that I would run into when I would talk to some entrepreneurs who were interested in public relations work, I would sit down and I would ask the question, what is your vision? What is the vision for your business? And a lot of times I would get that response back, like, I don't know. I would say, well, who's your target client? Everybody. And so that is an issue that I have because I get when we're starting off, sometimes we don't know those answers yet. And for me, starting off in consulting, I would get really bothered by it. Like, how don't they know? Why don't you understand this? But these are just things that we have to work through. So creating a vision is so important, and people have different ways of how they lay down their vision. Some people like to write it down, write their goals down. Some people will create a vision board. So all a vision is having a mental picture of what you are trying to accomplish. So I think you should have a vision for your life, and I think that you should have a vision for your business. However that looks for you, if you like to create a vision board, do that. If you like to write it down, do that. I do both. But what I like to do as an exercise is really think about my life, the end of my life. How do I want my story to be told? What is the legacy that I'm trying to leave? So I think if you haven't really thought about that for yourself, I think about your eulogy. Like, write that out. How would that look? Who would be reading it? And I know that may sound crazy. It may sound a little bit ludicrous, but I mean, why not? I think it's a beautiful exercise to just try and just to really see, like, okay, this is how I want my life to be told. If someone was talking about you after death, what do you want them to say? And I remember going through my childhood and just even into my adult years when I would ask a question about a certain person in my life, and the feedback that I would hear about this person. And I was like, man, this is not good. And it really put a light on me, and I said, how do I want people to talk about me when I'm gone? So I think about that. So I create a mental picture of what I want for my life. I create a vision. And outside of that, I also have a vision for my business. Now, again, I've done plenty of things. I've done photography work. I've done the PR consulting. I'm getting into more events. I'm doing this podcast work. So for myself, I'm looking at myself as a brand. I'm looking at myself as a business. Of course, I have an LLC, all of those different things. I have a suite where I'm doing my aesthetics. So there's a lot of different facets to my life. But believe you me, I've created a vision of what I see for myself. How do I want the end of my life to look? How do I want my businesses to look? And I think for yourself, you need to do the same thing. If you're just starting off, that is okay. If you're a fitness enthusiast or maybe you're a trainer, be thinking about, how do I want to sustain myself with this income? Now, I don't know if you want to continue to work your 9 to 5 and be doing the training on the side, or maybe that's how your business is right now. Maybe you're working in a corporate job and then you're also trying to build your dream. Create a vision. If you want to get out that 9 to 5, you need to be figuring out, how much income do you need to have in order to sustain your life? You need to be thinking about, how long is this going to take? How many more years are you giving yourself to work a 9 to 5 in order to start your dreams? Think about it all and really start putting this down on paper. Think about that 1-year plan, that 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan. Think about the lifetime goal. What is that? What does that look like for you? So again, that is a pet peeve that I have with some creators, some entrepreneurs out there. They just lack a vision. They don't know what they want. It's basically, I'm living day by day. I'm just trying to get through this day to make my money. And I get it. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. But also, while trying to get through the day, think about what that 1 year plan looks like. Think about the 3 years, the 5 years, the 10 years. How do you want to grow? Think about that strategy. What is it going to take? Do you need to read more books? Do you need to develop more skills? Who do you need to be around? One thing that I also like to do is to model. So there are people that I like and that I look up to. True enough, these are not my mentors, but in my head they are. And so, I was wearing this shirt in the other video where I had like Oprah, Beyonce, and Issa. So when I look at women like that, I'm saying to myself, what are the habits that they're doing? What did they do to build their successful companies and their businesses? What habits did they have to form? They talk about it in interviews. So think about a person who you look up to, or maybe who's living the life that you want, and see what it is that they're doing and where can you start right now. So lack of vision. You got to have a vision for your life. And this is for anybody, honestly. Have a vision for your life. Have a vision for your business. How do you want it to grow? Do you want it to grow? Do you want to sell your company one day? Think about all of those little details. I had to do some off-camera adjustments, so the lighting might look a little different. So my second issue that I have with some creators and entrepreneurs and small business owners is prioritizing. What is priority in your life right now? And what I like to think about is kind of like the time blocking method, or that is a tool that can help you. How do you block off your time? So maybe you answer emails on Monday. Maybe Tuesday is dedicated to video or podcasting work. Wednesdays could look like talking to clients, whatever your business structure is, and those things change. But having priorities, like what is the high priority, what is low priority? So for instance, for myself, my day-to-day changes. Some days I have clients, some days I don't. So on the days that I don't have clients, I kind of go through my week and I'm like, okay, well, I don't have clients this day. Well, that day may be dedicated to doing video work and maybe doing some content creation. Maybe it's editing. So I kind of block that off. Some days I am focused on, I'm going to respond back to emails or to certain text messages, because I don't respond to every text message, and I'm going to be honest with you. If it's not really pertaining to goals here, it kind of gets on the lower part of the totem pole. So when I think about priorities, I put it on the totem pole. I think what's high and what's low. What deserves my attention right now? What is most important? And so as business owners, as solo entrepreneurs, sometimes you are the only person. So you're wearing a multitude of hats. Okay, you are trying to juggle your time, you're trying to increase your income, you may be doing the marketing, the branding, you may be doing it all. And I can totally understand and relate, because I'm there. I'm that solo entrepreneur. So I'm the one that's doing the branding, the content creation, developing different graphics, flyer works, all of that stuff. So I completely get it. But I will say that learning how to multitask and learning how to prioritize is going to be key for the solo entrepreneur out there and or the business owner. Is so important for you. If you're sitting there watching TV, you're doing a bunch of just ramble texting and stuff that's just not in alignment with your goals and with your vision, you really need to get to work. You got to get to work. So prioritizing is really about, what's the mental picture? What are we trying to accomplish? What is the vision? And taking the action steps towards that and putting it on the totem pole, putting it down on paper, putting it down on your calendar, saying, this is what I got to get done. This is what needs to get done so we can continue to move the needle forward. So some tools, like I said, that I do is time blocking. Also, I have a calendar. I like to write things down. There are some people out there who are very digital and they like to use their Google calendars. Whatever works for you, whatever style and method works for you, do that. But for me, what I like to do is I like pen and paper. I like to write it down. It helps the information to stick better with me when I physically write what I need to do into my calendar. So having a calendar is important. Time blocking, and then just, it's the being. Who do I want to be? and like I said earlier, it's about modeling the behavior. So when I look at people who are successful, who I deem to be successful, I say, what are the habits that they're doing? And that's the third issue that I have with some creators and entrepreneurs out there is the lack of branding. Branding is so important in your business. Finding a brand coach, a consultant, find somebody who knows a little bit more than you if design is not your background. For me, design is in my background, so I'm used to kind of creating flyer work and doing like press releases. I know that part because I've studied it and I've done jobs that required me to have that skill set. Now, everybody doesn't have that. And if you don't have it, that's okay. But there are tools that you can use like Canva, Photoshop, if you want to start learning, or hire somebody to do it. Where I want to get to as far as in this topic, having a bio and a headshot. Write your bio and get a headshot, a good headshot. The worst thing you do is put a selfie on your website. Please don't put selfies on your website. Get into some really good brand photography, and you can hashtag that. So when I was looking for a brand photographer, I had hashtagged like Michigan brand photographer, and this woman popped up and I just really loved her work. It resonated with me and I took my shots with her and it came out beautifully. I did that for my aesthetics page and for the work I was doing there. What you can do also, again, do the hashtags. Find you a good brand photographer that's going to take your pictures. And if you're not ready to, do the gamut of branding or the brand photography, at least get a headshot because you never know where that's going to take you. So again, when I said have a vision for your life, when I write down my vision, it's not about just opening up the business and saying, hey, I just want to work this business every single day. I'm thinking about bigger and better. How am I going to grow? How do I continue to put myself out there? That could look like podcasting. That can look like video work. That can look like speaking engagements. So if I'm prepared now, which means I got my photo ready, I got my bio ready, when someone asks me, hey, can you do the speaking engagement? I'm ready to go with the information that I have. So always be thinking about that for yourself. Even if you feel like, the work you're doing, maybe you're a hairstylist and you're like, well, I'm just doing hair and that's it. But what if you were doing something that was so exceptional, the hairstyles you do? Maybe someone is watching you and saying, man, I want her to come and speak to my group of girls or my group of people and talk about hair. Would you be ready to send your bio and your headshot to that person? So think about that for yourself. Like when you're trying to grow, and some people are okay with where they're at, they're content and they're complacent with, hey, I have my salon, or hey, I'm a suite owner and I'm doing this one thing, or hey, I'm in the gym and I'm just training these group of people, that they're not thinking above that and saying, hey, what else can I do? What if I could go and speak to people? What if I could be on a panel? Or what if I could go and be a guest interviewee on a podcast and talk about fitness or talk about hair, talk about whatever industry that I'm in? So I want you to be thinking about that. Always think bigger and better. What could you do right now? And again, it's that modeling. Who is doing what you're doing? Look at what they're doing. I promise you, the blueprint has already been written for you. There's nothing new in this world. Everything that you're looking at has been recreated. Think about the music that you listen to. It's all been sampled. Nothing is new. So don't ever feel like, oh, I'm stealing something from somebody. Nah, you're just recreating it and you're making it your own way and you're making it better. So think about it from that aspect. Don't feel like you're stealing. I mean, there's some things that you can't steal, and of course, there could be a lawsuit. But just think about the fact that everything that we're using right now, everything that we're doing right now has been recreated. The cars, they just keep modifying it and making it better. Planes, toothbrushes, like everything is just a better design. So whatever you're doing, look at a person that's in your field who you admire and see what they're doing. What does their branding look like? How does the photos look on their website and on their social media? What could you do right now to take your brand a little bit better, to take it up a notch? Get that headshot and write out your bio. Always be thinking about the next thing. Even if no one is reaching out right now saying, hey, let me do an interview, or a journalist reaching out, or someone asking you to speak, at least you will be prepared. And even when you have that stuff, you can put it on your website. It makes a world of difference. For me, someone who comes from the PR background, it's just so funny because I was just having a conversation today when I was meeting with someone. But I'm always looking at the background. When I go into an establishment, if I love it, I don't care if it's a restaurant, a coffee house, I'm going to get a massage, whatever. If I love this establishment, the ambiance, I'm always thinking like, who's behind this? There are other people who are constantly thinking about who's behind this? How can I work with them? What can I do to be in their environment? So that's how I want you to think. How can I get better? How can my branding get better? What can I do right now with what I have? And I know there's something that you can do to make your brand better. You know what you can do right now that's going to take your brand up a notch. But if anything, you entrepreneurs out there, have your bio and headshots. And this is also an issue that I have because when I'm planning events, it was simple. I would send out forms that was literally questions about what is your Instagram handle? What's your website link? Submit your bio and headshot. And that would be such an issue for a lot of entrepreneurs out there. I would get selfies back, get photos that wasn't high resolution. It was just bad. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you're a whole business owner. Why don't you have this stuff? But some people just don't have it. They are working their business that they're not thinking about the marketing or the branding aspect, which I get. It may not be your lane, but I'm telling you, if you want to increase your value, you want to take it up a notch, these are things that you want to consider and you want to think about. And if you don't know it, there are books out there. There's Google. Me, you can come and, send me a DM and we can work together, or you can hire somebody. But don't allow the excuse that I just don't know. Don't live like that. Don't operate from that place. Figure it out. Find the answer, because there's always an answer to whatever problem that you have. Those are the issues that I have with entrepreneurs and creators out there. Again, lack of vision. Have a vision for your life. Have a vision for your business. Number 2, prioritize. Like I said, I like to have a totem pole. What's higher priority? What is the low priority? What needs to get done today? What needs to get done this week, this month, this year, this quarter? Think about that, okay? It's a time to play and it's a time to work. And you need to get the things done so that you can continue to move the needle forward and so that you can accomplish your goals that's going to ultimately accomplish the vision. Number 3, lack of branding is so important. At least get a decent headshot and write out your bio, because you never know who is watching you. You never know who wants to do a feature story, who wants you to speak. You just never know. And the best thing is just be prepared. That's my advice for you guys out there. I hope this video helps you. Be sure to share it with a friend or family member, or share it with another business owner so that they can get this help and resource as well. My name is Alexandria. This is the Stay Dumb channel on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe. Follow the community, join the community on Facebook and Instagram at We Are Stay Dumb. And be sure to also check out the podcast on Podbean, Stay Dumb, the podcast. So many exciting things that are coming up. I'm so excited. I'm doing the podcast live experience this summer. I'm so excited. So what that looks like, I'm going to be sitting down with an entrepreneur and discussing their story. So it's this one-on-one format, us having a conversation. We're going to have some light refreshments, and it's really an intimate crowd. Tickets will be on sale on Eventbrite, so be sure to go to Eventbrite and search Stay Dumb Podcast Live, okay? Be sure to do that, or you can find the link on Facebook and Instagram as well. But I'm giving you these resources because this is some of the information I would have wanted, many years ago that I didn't have. And so I want to make sure that you have that information as you are building your dream, as you're moving forward in life. I want you to have these gems. So you can check it out. Again, and it's going to be a live experience in person. You get to see me live in action. You can meet me. We can talk, because I just want to connect. And then also, again, just be sure to join the community. So thanks so much for listening. And remember, say less,